help you cook. We're going to be making chicken noodle soup, and this is a particularly good one if you have a pretty small budget and not a lot of time. So it's one of those things you're going to put on a pot. The prep work is pretty quick. We're going to put the pot on the stove and let it simmer as long as you want. The longer the better. So minimum 2 hours, but I'm going to let mine go for about 4, maybe 5 hours. And then at the end of 4 hours, we'll pull all the chicken out and we'll prep the soup and it'll be ready to go. So if that sounds like something that you want to do, go ahead, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and maybe throw a comment if you have any ideas for me on the next video. What we're going to start with first is the prep work. I have 4 carrots, about that big. 4 carrots, about that big, give or take. It doesn't need to be any specific amount. If you like more carrots, throw more carrots. If you like less carrots, throw less carrots. I also have 3 stalks of celery and 1 medium-sized onion. I'm going to chop that roughly. And I've also got bay leaves that I get from Penzies, but whatever bay leaves you have hanging around the house will do the trick. We'll use some salt, some pepper. I have this pretty little thyme plant that I found at the grocery store today. I love fresh thyme. You can use dried thyme if that's all you have available. So that being said, let's get started. We're going to peel up those carrots. I got a little garbage bucket off to the side here. I throw anything in here that can go to my chickens. I've got a beautiful flock of chickens in my backyard, and they take care of almost all of our kitchen scraps. They like carrot shavings a lot, so I give them a little bit extra. We got my carrots peeled. Next, we're going to get the leafy bits off the celery. I'm going to chop that up again because I'm giving this to my chickens, and I just want them to be able to eat it without fighting with it. They love green leaves. So if you have chickens, this is a perfect opportunity to give them a little bit of a treat. If you have a dog, come Kevin. Come Kevin. Come Kevin. If you have a dog, you can make him do a trick for a little piece of celery. He will be very happy. Can you say woof? Good boy, gentle. There you go. All right, bye Kevin. Dogs also help with the kitchen scraps. So as you can see, I'm chopping these into maybe about 1/2-inch size chunks. I don't need to be fancy about it. It's all just going to go into a pot right here. In this pot, I already have my chicken that has been thawed, and I have removed the packaging of guts from the inside there. So you don't want to cook that because you don't want the plastic in your soup, right? I'll push that off to the side again. Kevin is my favorite kitchen helper. My husband does not think that he belongs in the kitchen, but he's not here right now, so we don't need to worry about it too much. All right, so I'm putting those carrot chunks in the pot. Next, we're going to chop the onion, same type of way. Just roughly chopped. Watch me chop my finger off here for this video. I like to do a 1/2 and then 1/4. So same type of like 1-inch size-ish pieces. Throw that in the pot. For this recipe, you don't need to worry too much. We're going to not make it fancy. I'm not sauteing any vegetables. I'm not browning any chicken meat. I'm not really doing any extra work. I'm putting stuff in the pot. And I like 2 bay leaves. Yeah, we'll go 3. I was throwing stuff in the pot and letting it cook all day. Now, with my time, I'm going to make sure you use clean scissors if you want to keep this plant alive. I've learned the hard way that if you don't use clean scissors, it can infect the plant and then it dies before you get a chance to really use it much. So we're going to just cut a few sprigs of that stuff off there. Let's see, I'll get enough that I could show you when I'm done here how much I've got. Okay. About that much to do the trick. You can use more if you like more, less if you like less. I like thyme, so I'm going to put a bunch in there. All right, and then we need some salt and pepper. This I am going to, since I have little kids and they don't really like black pepper very much. We're from Wisconsin, and they are true Wisconsinites. They don't like any seasoning, but I do. I'm from Chicago, so I'm going to throw about a teaspoon of black pepper in there, maybe 1/2 teaspoon, and about a tablespoon of salt. And you're going to add more salt at the end when you decide whether or not you like the way it tastes. So right now, this is what we have. Excuse my dirty kitchen. So it looks pretty good so far. We're going to put a lid on that and cook the living heck out of it for the rest of the day. And I'll come back and check in with you when the time comes to do the next step. Okay, now our chicken has been cooking in this pot of broth for about 3 hours. So I know it's cooked through. I took the whole bird with some effort out of the pot and put it into a bowl because I'm going to separate the meat from the bones in a different pot. It's a lot easier to get it out in one chunk and then separate the meat from bones here than it would be if it all fell apart in the pot and then you have to go fish around for the bones out of the pot. So that being said, we now have our nice broth. It has all the carrots and the onions still in there. I am actually going to leave this alone. Sometimes I might use what's it called, a sieve, to scoop out extra herbs and stuff. You'll see that there's some bits floating around. If it's a lot of bits, I'll scoop them out with this thing. If it's not a ton, I'm just going to leave it alone. What I am going to do is take some of this broth out and put it off to the side and put it in jars. I'm going to fill it up with some more water and let the carrots, onions, and the bay leaves cook a little bit longer in there. And I'm going to set that broth aside for future projects. So I'll use it for cooking stir fries or deglazing whatever I'm cooking. It comes in handy for a lot of different purposes. You can also just reheat it up and throw some noodles in it. So once I've done that, I'm going to separate some of the chicken from the bones here, put it back into the pot. I will just throw my noodles right in. I'm going to use orzo, but you can use whatever noodles you want. Macaroni noodles are good. And that will be dinner for tonight. Chicken soup, easy peasy. It is long, but it is not difficult. Mostly you just throw all the stuff into a pot and then you just let it sit and do its thing on its own for a long time. No different than a crock pot. So if you're able to keep a pot going on a low heat all day, for example, I work from home, so I can come check on it and make sure the house isn't burned down. If you are working in an office, you can also do the same thing in a crock pot. Just throw all the same ingredients right into the crock pot and let it cook all day. And when you come home from work, you have chicken soup for dinner. All right, I'm here to help you cook. So anytime you want a new recipe or some guidance, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to help.